To shift timelines, you need to stop letting people hijack your mind. Because why is it that each time you have a thought, each time you have a belief, someone, some way, somehow breaks into your mind, orchestrates this heist, and replaces your thoughts, your diamonds, with their thoughts, your beliefs with their beliefs? Whether it's your new job, whether it's your new SP, whatever it is you're trying to manifest, you cannot be around people and entertain people whose only job is to project onto you and intercept the signal that you are sending out to the universe to manifest what you want. And now you're doing revision techniques because you stood there and received emotions and thoughts and feelings that weren't yours, baggage that wasn't yours. So today I am going to give you some tips on how to stop letting other people hijack your mind, so that you can finally shift to a new timeline. If you're on my TikTok, this is gonna be 2 parts. If you're on my YouTube, this is gonna be 1 part. So top tip number 1 in stopping people from hijacking your mind is you need to understand the protective role you play in your life as an adult. So being an adult is not so that we can play dress up. It's not for us to play pretend. Being an adult is by far the most important human quality that you can have when surviving out in the wild, because it means that you can survive on your own. And that survival should be automatic. That survival should be with a certain level of ease, because you're not a baby anymore. Your body is relying on your brain being strong enough to get it through the day without being unalived. Your manifestations are relying on you being an adult, being a grown-up, and having boundaries on who's allowed to come into your mind and persuade your thoughts and your beliefs. So whatever it is you're manifesting literally requires you to see yourself as an autonomous being. That means someone, an individual who has the capacity to make their own decisions, as free from this constant stream of external advice. And that leads us on to step number 2. What is step number 2? Step number 2 in protecting your mind from these hijackers is you need to develop and establish mental authority. So some reflection is needed. Why do you default to other people's thoughts and opinions instead of your own when you are the adult that your manifestations run to for protection? So let's do some of that reflection now. Let's help you establish some mental authority. When you are challenged on a dominant belief that you have formed over the course of however many years or over the course of your life, your entire life, those assumptions aren't just some random assumptions anymore. They are yours. They belong to you. These are your assumptions. They now have your signature. They are in your mind, and your mind is your domain. So when people have an assumption that is opposite to you, note this down. It is a matter of consent for them to even begin engaging in a debate with you. And it's not about controlling people and stopping them from trying to convince you. People have free will. It is about knowing that you have mental authority. As an adult, as a spiritual person, for example, your beliefs as a spiritual person are just as valid as someone else's beliefs as a Christian, as someone else's beliefs as a Muslim. Your beliefs are just as valid. You have mental authority, so therefore there is no other reason why you should be forced to accept anybody else's opinion, anybody else's belief, assumption as higher than your own beliefs and assumptions. And here's a moment you might be forced to give up your mental authority. You might be forced to give up your mental authority in a moment that is masked as a debate that you did not consent to. So a false debate to do with opinion. And the moment you stay longer than you should in this opinion style debate that is to do with your desires, you are giving up your mental authority. You are letting the mind hijacker in to complete their heist. And that's how that thought and belief transmission begins, through heated debate, through emotional trigger. Because even after that exchange, that verbal exchange ends with the mind hijacker who is trying to convince you of their own assumptions, you are still going to continue that debate when you leave. So now you have adopted a new streamline of thoughts that were never yours. Now you are engaging with opinions and convictions that have nothing to do with your manifestations. And not because they hold any more logical value than your own assumptions, but mainly because when you are drowning in emotion, you are easier to submit. There are other good faith debates that you can engage in that have nothing to do with your desires. You can have public domain conversations. I call it public domain conversations because it's things that we can all see, things we can touch, things we can hear. The sky, the clouds, the greenery, the landscape, 3D trivia, interesting facts, gravity, the law, obeying the law because we wouldn't want certain things being done to us, so we don't do it to other people. So to establish mental authority to yourself, you should only ever engage in debate academically, natural science, factuals. But when it comes to beliefs, we're all drawing from our assumptions no matter what. So what gives someone else a right to assert their assumptions over yours? So now you've established mental boundaries and you're self-listening. This brings me on to top tip number 3. Top tip number 3 in stopping mind hijackers from infecting you with their own thoughts and beliefs is that you need to practice thought privacy. Privacy of thoughts, because your thoughts, think of your thoughts as like a naked body, and to have a good relationship with yourself, you don't need to be exposing your thoughts to every single person who insists on seeing your manifestations. Why are you sharing your manifestations with any and everybody? Your manifestations are sacred and they should be executed. They should be lived in, okay? You should express, you shouldn't tell, you shouldn't kiss and tell with your manifestations. And the problem with kissing and telling every single person about your manifestations is that not only do they, have this urge to project, but the reason they have this urge is because they start to believe that they are in a parasocial relationship with you. Parasocial relationships are typically spoken about when it comes to celebrities and people having like one-sided relationships with celebrities. But I'm here to let you know the parasocial relationships are also people really feeling like they have a relationship with your own thoughts and beliefs, the thoughts and beliefs in your own mind. So when you are in a relationship with someone, you tend to have some level of course, some influence over what they do. You want the best for them. You want them to make the right decision. So people who you splurge your manifestations and your deepest dark thoughts and secrets to start to develop an intimate connection with your thoughts and your beliefs. That's what also motivates them to give their input, to start to try and control you. So you need to practice thought privacy. You don't need stalkers. You don't need people, stalking you because you said one thing, one odd thing that one time, and they can't get it out of their head why you believe that you deserve a new place or a new SP or a new whatever it is. You start to have audacity that they wouldn't have if you hadn't had shown them your naked thoughts. You stripped down and you showed them. And now they're in love with you. So stop showing your private thought parts to random people, even to people you feel are like close with you. Not everything needs to be an outside thought. And guys, this is serious. Like, the analogies are fun and cute, but people's constant unsolicited opinions are in breach of your soul's security system. And they're not necessarily doing anything wrong. You're just giving them an invite. You're constantly giving an invite into your precious mind. And these mind hijackers have a loot of fun. They have the heist. They carry out the heist. They steal all your diamonds, all your thoughts, and they run away. And this isn't even about destiny swapping. That's another video for later on, okay? You can check out my other video about jealous people that I posted before this, but today's video is about staying on track so that you can shift timelines. Right now, you're a bad radio. You're tuning in, your manifestation is at 96.9 FM. And because you have all these bad habits I have shown you in this video, I've spoken to you about in this video, you let people intercept your signal, your radio signal, and it switches to 106.9 FM. It keeps switching back. You're just not able to focus in on your manifestation. As always, thank you so much for watching another episode of the Non-So Protocol. Please make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, all of the above, and I will see you in the next video.